Public testimony. Clerk, please proceed.
Yes, again, we have a large number of speakers, so as your name is called, almost the entire front row is vacant, so please take a seat to be on deck. It does help with meeting management. Folks have 1 minute apiece, and if somebody has seated you or donated their time to you, they will need to be present at the time that I call your name. Andrea Guerrero, or Andrea Guerrero, is our first speaker. If she's present, she should be coming forward to the microphone. She'll be followed by Christopher Rice Wilson. Then we'll be turning to the in favor speakers, beginning with Keith Maddox. And Ms. Guerrero, before you get started, you have time seated by Misha Rice. Is Misha present? Thank you, ma'am. Pamela Marin. Thank you. Vanessa Green. Thank you, Vanessa. Nora Cardona. Thank you. Michelle Saleri. Thank you. And Hiram Soto. Thank you. And Patricia Mondragon. Thank you. So you'll have 8 minutes, ma'am.
And we would like to have Chris Wilson go before me. So you have another set of speakers who have ceded time to him. Do you want to check those?
So let me go ahead and read those into the record. Mr. Rice Wilson, you have time seated by Karen Lee. Is Karen present? Could I see a hand raised, please? I don't see Karen. Chris Borgos. Thank you. So that's 2 minutes. Anthony de Guzman. Thank you. Aaron Grassi. Thank you. Itzel Guillaume. Thank you. Thomas Perez. And Kyle Brandon. Thank you. So it looks like you will have 7 minutes, and then Ms. Guerrero will follow you with 8.
That's enough time. Thank you. Good afternoon, Council President Gomez, council members. Thank you for hearing us today. I want to start by saying today is your chance to protect our democracy, to honor the will of the voters, and to respect the direction that voters gave when they overwhelmingly passed Measure L in 2016. The mandate was clear: schedule citizen initiatives for November election when most people vote. The average turnout in primary elections over the last 10 years is 38%, compared to 70% in November general elections. Even in presidential primaries, the difference between the two elections' turnout is vast. Money interests have long used low turnout primary elections to favor them. They've taken advantage of the fact that the city spends nothing on voter education, including no public awareness on when elections are held, and they use it to handpick their voters and turn them out. The results have been disastrous for San Diego. In the last few years, a small percentage of the electorate made major decisions in primary elections that resulted in, among other things, making unlawful changes to the city retirement plan, creating a strong mayor system that is short on accountability, and overturning a community-created Barrio Logan plan. When the voters passed Measure L, they spoke loud and clear. They want to end the election manipulation and decide citizen initiatives in November. As Measure L description stated in the ballot book, democracy functions best when the most people vote. 2/3 of the voters agreed with that. In 2017, after Measure L was passed, the City Council honored the will of the voters and rejected a special election for a similar measure. Because the City Council did the right thing, voters decided on citizens' initiatives at the next regularly scheduled general election in November 2018. A majority of the voters turned out, as they usually do in November general elections. The directive of Measure L was fulfilled. The big decisions facing the city were made by a majority of the voters. That's how democracy should work. This should be what life looks like after Measure L, voting in San Diego. But here we are again with the TOT Increase Convention Center campaign engaged in election shopping. Even though they could have qualified their measure for the November 2018 election, they did not. They waited and ultimately qualified for the November 2020 election. But now they want the City Council to put them on an early election that favors them, which is the very definition of election shopping. The City Council was elected to represent voters, not campaigns, and the voters have directed you, the City Council, plain and simple, schedule citizen measures for November. Will you respect their vote?
Ms. Guerrero, I'll put 8 minutes on the clock for you.
Yes, please.
And then you'll be followed by Keith Maddox, who should be in the front row ready to go.
Good afternoon. Democracy depends on you, all of you. It depends on you, Council President Gomez. It depends on you, Ms. Moreno, Mr. Sherman, Mr. Kate, Mr. Kersey, Ms. Montgomery, Mr. Ward, Ms. Campbell, Ms. Bree. all of you, on your commitment to safeguard elections from undue influence and manipulation, and on your commitment to honor the will of the voters. You have been asked by the Convention Center campaign to move up an election from November to March. In essence, you have been asked to facilitate election shopping. You should not. Instead, you should ask why and who stands to gain. In this case, it may include the morally bankrupt and abusive private prison industry. In 2008, the GEO Group, one of the largest for-profit prison companies in the country, rescued the Yes for a Better San Diego signature gathering campaign with a $50,000 contribution. The GEO Group, if you are unfamiliar with them, holds a daily average of 60,000 people in its facilities across the country. It runs prisons, it runs jails, including the one in downtown San Diego, among other activities. Given the company's entrance into homeless and rehabilitation services, their interest and investment in this convention center initiative raises the stakes. The initiative promises to generate revenue for homeless programs, but who would that go to? As defined in the ballot measure, homelessness programs include transitional housing, job training, substance abuse, mental health treatment, and counseling. These are all services offered by GEO's new and aggressively expanding profit arm, GEO Continuum of Care. That expansion could include San Diego. But rather than providing a continuum of care, GEO has a long track record of providing a continuum of despair. They exploit migrants for cheap labor, have been accused of medical neglect and bribery and kickbacks. The Department of Justice has described instances of sexual abuse there among the worst they have ever seen. So who stands to gain from this measure? GEO, among others. And who benefits from an early election? Certainly not the voters. It is the same moneyed interests who have used elections to expand their business, fatten their pockets at the expense of communities and our democracy. The voters have made it clear. They want you to schedule this initiative and all other citizen initiatives in the November elections when the most people vote. That's why 2/3 of the voters voted for Measure L. Our democracy is only as strong as its elected leaders. And how strong are they? That's for you to decide. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now turn to